Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, October 19, 2020. Time to take a break with Drake, America's Bible teacher. It's early morning in Wadesburg, Washington. It's been the same time every morning that we start the show, 7 a.m. But it just seems way earlier today. And here's your host, Dr. Drake.
Yes, it was awfully dark this morning. It seemed like it, but I guess the time changes 2 weeks yesterday. 17, 19, yeah, 2 weeks yesterday the time change will happen, and it will be this dark at 6 a.m. or 6:01 instead of 7:01. But anyhow, honey, we told you we'd share a church bulletin blooper with you. Were you gonna do that, or?
Yeah, I can do that. I need to log into one more thing here.
Okay.
Because I want to be sure that we can say hello. Okay, guys, here we go. October 19th, 2020. It's a Monday. Boy, everything's acting like a Monday with all this equipment. Welcome to Take a Break with Drake for the second time this morning. And here's your host, Drake Travis.
Yes, we did massive moving over the weekend. We moved the studio, the sound booth, the office, all the equipment. We're set up in a different spot, so you don't even know that. As you watch, you think, what are you talking about? It looks the same. Well, anyhow, but we pulled in some help and got it done. And wife knows what to do here, but anyhow, it is getting to be mid-late October. Soon we'll be singing When October Goes. It is November 2nd, 2 weeks today, so anyhow, we kick and go, honey?
So, yeah, we've got here we go. We've got some church bulletin bloopers.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, we do.
These are great. I remember first seeing these almost 30 years ago and laughing, falling out of my chair. Here's one.
Oh, here. Hang on a second, Drake.
What?
I'll go ahead and do a kind of like a...
Oh, she's going to do a ditty intro to my wife.
I'm just having so much fun. The day the squirrel went berserk in the first self-righteous church in that sleepy little town of Pascagoula. Okay, now you can say the blooper.
Church bulletin. This is actually from a church bulletin. It says the church will host an evening of fine dining, superb entertainment, and gracious hostility.
Nothing like a church to host some hospitality.
Yeah, hospitality.
Hospitality.
We're gonna have.
You can make that. That's a better typo.
Yeah.
It was a fight for survival that broke out in revival. They were jumping pews and shouting, "Hallelujah! Hey, come on, sing it, baby!
Amen.
Amen."
What do I do? Tell me what I do. Wife's out of control today. Hey,
oh, man.
Well, that's fun.
I'll tell you.
You know that we saw this video this last weekend. It's Ray Stevens, the day the church went berserk. What the squirrel? Some squirrel gets loose in a church.
Okay, he lets it loose in the church, which is funny.
He lets the church, and a squirrel crawls up somebody's leg, and he starts jumping and shouting, and people think he's getting filled with the Spirit. He's trying to get this squirrel from crawling up his leg. Anyhow, it's just, Ray Stevens is nuts, man. We laughed for an hour and a half. It was great. So, thus the wild hair today. But,
hey, Dan says, so funny, love Ray Stevens. Yeah. Yeah, we do too. It's so funny. I woke up thinking of that song one day, and I'm asking Drake, I'm asking my parents. I'm like, why can't I remember who wrote this song? I'm just remembering a little bit of the melody. And
he was doing these when I was in high school and college. Mm-hmm. You were in grammar school, so you weren't remembering it so well. But if you'd have given me that's Ray Stevens.
No, I did, and nobody knew. And I was going, So anyway, it was like I had to do
Goofing.
it took me a full day to remember.
But
That's
something I think is so funny about that, and it's an off-the-cuff, on-the-run thing with my studies of theology. It says the first self-righteous church. Now, that's boasting. We're going to talk about boasting here in 2 Corinthians. That is boasting.
Yeah.
The first self-righteous church, the first. We are so righteous, we did it first. We're so righteous that we realize how righteous we are ourselves. That's boasting, and it's, people boast. I love what John Maxwell said. He says, the only thing you better get used to in pastoring is that everybody thinks their child is the superlative child on earth, not because of the kid, because of the way the kid makes them feel. The kid makes them feel awesome, so they think that kid is the most awesome kid in the world. I remember this one lady in our church, she'd talk about her children, they're just so bright and they're so superlative, they're precocious, they're prodigies. And I had two of her kids in Sunday school, and I thought, well, they're in the 4th grade, and they've just learned how to hold their Bibles right side up.
Oh, that's funny.
Really bright. Sure, yeah. You come on. I mean, I didn't want to turn into a sarcasm. Just let them be. Talk about sarcasm and boasting and backward stuff. I honestly, this is a true story. I drove an assassin once in my job last year, and he assassinated.
I'm glad he didn't assassinate you, honey.
This is weird, but it's really true.
He wanted you to make sure you.
I mean, FBI's most worldwide most wanted. I mean, he took him out with a 45, and I thought, tough, fighting through the hills of
45,
Afghanistan,
the assassin's
going down a
weapon of
cave and
choice.
popping people in the cave. Oh my, tough. So late in our drive, this does go about boasting. This does link to boasting here.
Oh, wow. I was amazed how that was going to link. Okay.
And he...
oh, hey, Graham Dale.
Hey, Graham. Graham, we're being a little too Americana here. But he says, hey, can we get something to eat before you drop me off? Which I'm not supposed to do. I'm supposed to definitely drop him off. It's 1:45. The dispatch, the whole office has gone to bed. I'm the only driver still up and going. I thought, yeah, it's just you and me. It's fine. He said, yeah, how about we go to, what do you want, Wendy's, Jack in the Box, Taco Bell? And once you're in intersections in an urban area.
What does an assassin want for dinner?
Yeah, good question. And so we talk about this way, and then he changed his mind, and he's in the back seat.
What, he couldn't make up his mind?
Coolest guy.
That's
he kind of changed his mind a couple times.
Oh, okay.
Because he says, well, no, let's not go. I said, hey, make up your mind. Both of us were laughing.
You really did have to tell him.
I said, hey, make up your mind. I don't want to have to hurt you. And he laughed so hard. He says,
yeah.
You are the funniest guy. He says, tell you what, dinner's on me. And he bought me dinner.
Oh, that's awesome.
But what kicked it off was some goofy backward. I mean, I couldn't hurt this guy. You have him barehanded and give me an armload of weapons. I couldn't hurt this guy.
He was lethal.
But I acted like I was his teacher, I was his coach,
Yeah.
I was his judo instructor, and act like I was going to hurt. Oh, golly. It was the backward boasting. It just came off really funny. Parents do this. Paul says, I must go on boasting.
Is this chapter 11, by the way?
No, we're in 12 now. 2 Corinthians 12. One chapter to go.
Wow. We are cooking.
And 2 Corinthians will be wrapped up.
And what's the title, more or less?
Strength through weakness.
Oh, okay. I love it.
Paul says, I must go on boasting, although there's nothing to be gained. You have the greatest theologian of all time here talking back and forth, talking very human, talking very normal, very bourgeois, very vulgate, just the way we talk. I mean, he's talking as ditzy as a lady in a kitchen with 4 kids pulling on her leg while she's trying to deal with phone calls and running water in the dishwasher and pots.
Hey, Drake, Christopher Knox says you're funny.
Christopher Knox, you're the best. Yeah. I must go on boasting, although there is nothing to be gained. I will go on to visions and revelations in the Lord. I like that. It kind of has a Columbo moment to it. Let's go on to visions. I don't know. This is great stuff. I love it. I will go on to visions and revelations from the Lord. I know a man. Now, this is true, and it's also symbolic talking because this happened to him. And Paul had a vision, but he says, I know a man in Christ who 14 years ago, I think he says that as a complete throw-off because it may have happened 14 years ago. I think it did because he said it, but it also happened to him recently. That's what I think. I'm not saying the Lord said, this is what I think. I know a man in Christ who 14 years ago was caught up to the third heaven. Honey, get the logo for the movie Heaven is for Real.
Wow.
Get that and put that up. We're in Thessalonica, by the way. You can see that, right? Yeah, I got here shortly after sunup. And
you mean like the cover of the film?
The movie. Greg Kinnear, Connor Corum.
Oh, like where he's standing, there's like a little gap.
The movie poster.
There's 2 of them.
Well, choose one. Rotate them.
Okay.
You do them both.
Okay.
Caught up to the third heaven, whether it was in the body or out of the body, I don't know. I love that. God knows.
Yeah.
And I know that this man, whether in the body or apart from the body, I do not know, but God knows. He says it twice. It's such an outlandish statement. By the way, this entire concept of the next life, the Greeks had all kinds of tales and fables because they knew something else was coming. They thought our dreams was God trying to tell us stuff about a life we used to live. Because how could it tell us about a life that hasn't happened yet? So they thought it was a past life that we'd lived in another sphere or another realm. But here we are now, and that's memos from in the Semitic world, the Eastern world. They thought, well, the dreams are telling us what's coming. Daniel's dream, every one of his dreams, the Persian Empire is coming, the Greek Empire is coming, the Roman Empire is coming. It's coming. Joseph, a famine is coming. After 7 bountiful years, 7 famine years are coming. And he had the dream, and it happened. So dreams in the Semitic world are like, whoa, pay attention. But the next life in another realm, that's an undeveloped concept in the First Testament. I don't want to call it the old because it didn't get old. It's old. It's not. It's still very current. It's very real. I know this man, whether in the body or out from the body. I don't know about that. God knows. He was caught up to paradise. That there made the entire theological world go, what? Whoa, 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 whoa. And when Paul says it, you don't go, it's just Paul jabbering again. He's had too much falafel and gyros. He's in Greece, by the way. He's eating too many gyros. He's burping and having visions. He says he heard inexpressible things that the man is not permitted to tell. I will boast about a man like that. Hey, he saw this. This is going on. This is a memo from God. He's not going to be mousy about it. Well, I'm going to teach you something here, and I hope you'll listen. No, I will boast about a man like that. He saw stuff. This is real. I remember reading a description about someone that someone wrote who died for 90 minutes, and he said, oh, I'm not talking like the jerks on Friends. Oh my God. When I say that, it's very different when they say that on Friends. Oh my God. The entryway in heaven. Oh my God. The pillars. The pillars look like a living, active, twirling fountains of diamonds and sapphires and emeralds. And my wife would say, the Seattle Seahawk colors. Why don't we all take a hint? Say, that's my wife. She doesn't understand football. Yeah.
Oh, brother. Oh, man.
But you know those, you go into some poshy business and they've got those fountains where it's kind of corrugated, is that the word? It's kind of waved copper. And the water, part oil, part water, it just rolls down that thing like this. Catchy, and there's no noise to these fountains. They're just gorgeous. He said the pillars in heaven are like that. Diamonds and sapphires with hints of emeralds, rubies at the base. They look like they're flowing, but they're solid. I know a man who was caught up into the third heaven. Body, out of body, I don't know, but he was caught up to paradise and he heard inexpressible things. Remember the movie Heaven is for Real?
I've had it up here the whole time.
Greg Kinnear.
I didn't know when you wanted to.
Yeah, Greg Kinnear is the pastor, the father in the movie. Connor Corum plays the boy that this happened to. Wife and I had a dinner with Connor Corum, and his grandparents were watching him. Mm-hmm. And the little blonde boy in the movie, oh my goodness, they screened 1,000 boys to play that part of a 4-year-old. They got down to the final 3. Connor was left with two other guys, and the one guy was a little boy. There's a bunch of 4-year-old boys getting tested to be the actor, and he kind of had a meltdown from the stress, and they thought, oh man, we're out of guys. There's only one left, and we got this kid over here who's kind of talking to walls and windows. They went over to him, and Connor Corum was reciting the movie. His mother read the movie to him. He had the whole movie memorized. When you watch the movie Heaven is for Real, that little 4-year-old blonde boy, he's 12 now, he's a genius. And he does such a genius job of portraying a boy who died and portraying a boy who came back, and he describes what he saw. And when he's in heaven, one of his sisters who miscarried comes up to him and hugs him. He comes back to life on this earth, tells his parents about it. They just lose it. They lose it. Oh my goodness, he really did. He saw his grandfather who'd been gone for 25 years. He tells his dad about it, his dad, and his dad just melts. I mean, I was just reading this an hour ago and I had to grab a tissue. Like, oh my goodness.
That's very sweet.
This stuff about being caught up, God just gives us hints of it and goes, guys, I want you to know what's coming. I want you to know that when you work for me, you don't die. When you work for me, it's never over. When you work for me, there's a retirement plan that is wow. Wow, it's beyond wow. It's a retirement plan that's out of this world.
It's better than a 401k.
Oh, brother, is it better than a 401k? One thing about, people say, well, I could sure having God offer me some better pay now. The retirement plan's the issue. Because when you're old, you know what to do with wealth. When you're young, you can kill yourself with it. But when you're old, you handle it very smartly. Anyhow, Paul's boasting. He goes, let's go into visions. He shares about this vision. Even if I should choose, okay, I will boast about a man like that. But I will not boast about myself, except about my weaknesses.
That's backwards talk.
That's like me bragging about my calculus skills. She laughed.
Yeah.
She laughed. Yeah, she just motors through calculus and advanced linear quantum psychomath and all that stuff. That was her major. But I would not be a fool. Even if I should choose to boast, I would not be a fool because I would be speaking the truth. But I refrain. So no one will think more of me than is warranted by what I do or say. Paul keeps the issue on the deeds and the working of God and God doing amazing things through other people. When Paul boasts, he boasts about himself. What's he getting at? And he throws in an issue here that adds an entire doctrine to our theology. I deal with this in the first book I ever wrote 25 years ago.
Oh, really?
2 Corinthians 12:7. To keep me from becoming conceited because of these surpassing great revelations. Paul has great revelations. God talks to him straight, and he writes books that are changing the whole world. They changed the Western world first. Thomas, Andrew, and some of the other disciples went east. Paul went west. Once you go west and you hook the Greek mentality and you influence the Roman culture, you're influencing the entire world. So God sent the most intellectually astute of the disciples and sent him west. He sent Paul west, and his revelations were just out there. His writings are shaking the empire. He has reason to be conceited. Plus, Paul does miracles. He empties out every sick person out of every hospital on the island of Patmos. He does other miracles too. You know, you do miracles, you're brilliant, you have revelations. To keep me from becoming conceited, he inserts this here, there was giving me a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me.
Ew.
You ever watch a policeman hold a guard dog back? Mm-hmm. If he let that thing go, God's holding the devil back. Satan would so like to finish off Paul. But like the Job doctrine at the beginning of Job, don't you touch his body. All right, do it, but don't, God holds him back like holding back a police dog.
Wow.
The messenger of Satan to torment me, that's how Paul perceives it. What do we do with this pain? I pulled on my shoes yesterday, and there was a little grain in my left shoe. They say the mountains won't wear you out in life. The grain of sand in your shoe is far more irritating than the miles you've got to trek. And, when you've got a splinter, it irritates you until it's gone. There was given me a thorn in my flesh to torment me. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My grace is enough, for my power is made perfect. The power of God comes to full bloom in weakness. If someone is just so full of themselves, where's there room for God?
Yeah, good point. Not much.
If someone is just top-notch this and that, they've got an Olympic medal, they're summa cum laude at Stanford, Jordatch and this and that are dying to take photos of their awesome face, and their posters are all over the walls in every urban city on earth. How does God get to a person like that? They don't realize, they can forget that they're dying. Plus, and then put $500 million in their account on top of that. They're like, hey, life's good, I'm good, it's not going to always be that way. But when someone's got all these gaps, then there's a place that God can fill. I love this one vision someone had, that they had a pitcher and they were pouring and there were cracks and holes in it, and I want to pour here, but God, the water's leaking out all over, and all these other leaks are filling all these other cups that she didn't know about. I think it was Patsy Claremont, kind of a funny talker, but good picture. Mm-hmm. Good picture. God uses the weakness, and that's where He comes through. I remember when I was feeling very weak in a ministry setting in Ukraine, and I was bungling bad. But once I went, God, I don't even know what's going on here. I can't see, I can't think, I can't talk. I look out, they're all shaking their heads. Once I said, I'm just going to, well, some of the people before you stop, they want you to pray for the healing. My confidence was gone. My self-confidence was gone. After that happened, the healing wave came in. Once I got out of the way. John the Baptist prepared the way, then he didn't get out of the way. So God had to remove him from the scene. Weaknesses. He fills in the gaps on our weaknesses. And then the power of God comes through. God is just looking for a vessel to abide in and work through. Don't worry about what you're not. What you're not, what we're not, is what God can fill. And when God fills something, I love what Malcolm Muggeridge said. He says, a drop of Christ, a drop of Him is enough to change the world. I got a full tank here. Yep, the truck I drive is a 200-gallon tank.
That's a lot.
And when it gets low, I'm like, yeah, I hope I can get back to the gas pump in time. A drop. A drop of Christ will do so much. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. Do you want Christ's power? Do you want a vision of heaven? Would you like the power to see lives touched, transformed, changed, your town be so flipped that people think, what happened here? It's like that goofy revival song that Serena was singing about when we started today. A revival in Pascagoula. Look at that. Ray Stevens, the squirrel in the church in Pascagoula.
The Mississippi Squirrel Revival.
Yeah. This is why, for Christ's sake. Paul delights in his weaknesses, his insults, his hardships, his persecutions, his difficulties. He says, for when I am weak, then I am strong. Someone pleaded for God to take their aches and pains away, and He never did. And in that pain, Annie Johnson Flint writes, He giveth more grace when the burdens grow greater. He sendeth more strength when the labors increase. To added affliction He addeth His mercy. To multiplied trials His multiplied peace. This is your closing blessing today. His love has no limit. His grace has no measure. His power, His power has no boundary known unto men. For out of His infinite riches in Jesus, He giveth and giveth and giveth again. Ask for the power of Christ to come over you and change everything.